My name is Emily, and this is the story of how I learned that sometimes the people you love the most can hurt you in ways you never expected. And how, on the day that was supposed to be the happiest moment of my young life, I finally spoke the truth I had been swallowing for years. I did not do it out of anger. I did not want revenge. I only wanted to stop feeling invisible. The moment my parents saw what I had done at my graduation ceremony, the moment the audience turned to look at them, my mother's face went pale. My father looked like he had stopped breathing. People whispered. Some even gasped. And I stood there, with my hands shaking, wondering if I had finally gone too far. But deep inside, there was a strange peace. Because for the first time in my life, they finally saw me. Truly saw me. I grew up in a quiet American suburb, in a pretty normal home. Nothing extravagant, nothing dramatic. Just 4 people under one roof. My dad, my mom, my little sister, Chloe, and me. On the outside, we looked like a regular, happy family. But inside, things were very different. The funny thing is, if you asked anyone who knew us, they would swear that my parents were fair, loving, balanced. But fairness can be a very tricky thing, especially when the wounds are invisible. From the time we were young, Chloe was the future star. At least, that is what my parents like to say. She's gifted. She's special. She's the one who's going to achieve big things. And as for me, well, I was responsible. Calm. Good at taking care of things. No one ever said I was exceptional. No one ever said my dreams mattered. I was the stable one, the dependable one, the one who did not need much. But I did. I really, really did. It started early, in small ways. When we were kids, Chloe got piano lessons. I got asked to help around the house. She got art classes. I got told to be patient, we'll see next year. She got new shoes every school season. I got hand-me-downs. And every time I asked why, the answer was always the same. Chloe needs this more. Chloe has potential. You're the strong one, Emily. You understand. I did understand, at least for a while. I told myself it was okay. I told myself that being the older sister meant making sacrifices. But as I grew older, those small differences became larger and heavier. By high school, the difference between us wasn't just visible, it was undeniable. Chloe had a tutor for almost every subject. I had old textbooks. She had extracurricular activities that cost hundreds. I had part-time jobs after school. If we both needed something, she got it first. Every single time. Sometimes I wondered if I had done something wrong, if I had disappointed them, if there was something about me that made me less worth investing in. But I never asked. Because in my family, speaking about feelings was like opening a door you weren't supposed to open. So I stayed quiet. I smiled. I helped. I did everything a good daughter was supposed to do. And slowly, I started disappearing into the background of my own life. When senior year came, my school counselor told me, "Emily, you have the grades for a good university. You should apply." And for the first time in a long time, I felt hope. I wanted to study education. I wanted to become a teacher. I wanted to do something meaningful. When I told my parents, my dad gave a tired smile. "Sweetheart, we're already saving for Chloe's college. She wants to go out of state. You know how expensive that is." My mother nodded, as if the conversation was already over. "So what about me?" I asked softly. My mother's voice was gentle. Too gentle. "You're practical, Emily. You'll find a way. You're good at managing things." My heart sank so deeply inside me that I felt like I couldn't breathe. So Chloe got tens of thousands of dollars. And I got a pat on the shoulder. That night, while they all slept, I sat on the floor of my room and cried. Not loud, not angry, just quiet tears that soaked the carpet. I wasn't sad about the money. I was sad about what it meant. I was not worth investing in, not worth the effort, not worth the sacrifice. That realization changed something inside me. I did not give up. Maybe I should have. Maybe someone else would have. But I refused. I applied to a local community college. I worked 2 jobs, one in a grocery store, another in a cafe. I studied late into the night. I missed parties, sleep, and weekends. Yet I kept going. Every semester, every exam, every long shift. I kept pushing. Some nights I cried into my pillow, wondering why my parents never once asked how I was coping, why they never offered help, why they never said, "Emily, we're proud of you." But I kept all those questions inside, because asking for love from people who don't know how to give it only hurts more. At last, after years of struggle, I was graduating with a degree in education. I had worked so hard. I had earned every credit with sweat and tears. The ceremony hall was huge, filled with proud families holding flowers and gifts. I stood backstage with my cap and gown, and my hands were shaking, not from excitement, but because I knew my parents were in the audience, and not for me. No, they were there because I had practically begged them to come. I had reminded them 3 times, sent the invitation, even called the night before. My sister was with them, dressed beautifully, looking like the golden child she had always been. I felt that familiar ache in my chest. The day before graduation, my professor had said something that stayed with me. "Your story matters, Emily. Don't hide it." And I realized something. I was tired of hiding, tired of pretending, tired of being invisible. So, I decided on something bold. Not cruel, not loud, just honest. Each graduate was allowed to write 1 short sentence that would flash on the big screen when their name was called. Most people wrote things like, "Thanks, Mom and Dad." Couldn't have done it without my family. Dreams do come true. I wrote something different. Something that had lived inside my heart for years. Something I knew would make my parents uncomfortable, but I also knew it was the truth. When the announcer said, "Next we have Emily Andrews, Bachelor of Education," I stepped forward. My steps were steady, my breath slow. The audience clapped politely. Then, the big screen lit up behind me, and my sentence appeared. I funded my entire education alone, but I still made it here. The hall went silent for 2 whole seconds, then whispers. People turned to look, some with understanding, some with surprise. I did not look at my parents. Not yet. I walked across the stage, shook the dean's hand, and accepted my diploma. My heart was beating so loudly I thought the whole hall could hear it. After the ceremony ended, I walked toward my parents. My mother's face was pale. My father looked tight-lipped. Chloe looked confused. My mother spoke first. "Why would you write something like that?" Her voice trembled, not with anger, but with wounded pride. I answered softly, "Because it's true." My father's eyes narrowed slightly. "You're making us look like bad parents." I felt tears forming, but my voice stayed steady. "I'm not trying to make you look bad. I'm just telling my story. I worked so hard. I just wanted you to know that." My mother whispered, almost defensively, "We helped Chloe because she needed it more." I nodded. "I know, and I never asked for much, but sometimes I just wanted you to see me, to acknowledge my effort, to be proud of me." For a long moment, no one said anything, and in that silence, I realized something. Maybe they would never understand. Maybe they would never see me the way I needed them to. But that was okay, because I finally saw myself. That evening, I went home alone. I made myself dinner. I placed the diploma on my small table, and I just stared at it for a long, long time. Not because of the paper, but because of what it represented. Every night I stayed up studying. Every shift I worked. Every tear I hid. Every feeling I swallowed. It was mine. Completely mine. For the first time in my life, I felt proud of myself. Not proud for surviving, but proud for choosing myself. Life does not always give us fairness. Sometimes love feels uneven. Sometimes the people who should lift us up become the weight we carry. But we can still rise. Not with anger, not with revenge, but with quiet strength, with steady steps, with hope that grows slowly inside us. I learned that my worth is not decided by who invests in me, but by who I choose to become. And if you are listening to my story right now, if you have ever felt unseen, unappreciated, or left behind, I want to tell you this. Your journey still matters. Your dreams are still real. And your value has never depended on anyone else. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched your heart, let me know. Share it with someone who might need strength today. Leave a comment if you've ever felt overlooked like I did. And if you want more stories like this, stay connected, stay kind, and stay hopeful.